That man, the one you spat on, he's your father.
The sky over Lagos was bruised with gold. A convoy of black SUVs glided through the narrow streets of Ajegunle, their windows tinted, engines quiet like secrets. The dust parted for them. Street children paused their ball games. A woman frying puff-puff dropped her spoon. A beggar with no legs lifted his head. And from the middle car stepped her, Kaima, 25. Skin like bronze mango, eyes sharp like broken glass. Her heels struck the dirt like war drums. Designer handbag, crimson lips, Ankara gown with western cuts, sewn tight to hug privilege. Cameras followed her. Social media, bodyguards, even her mother's political legacy. She walked like one who didn't belong to the land, though her roots drank from its dust. She had come to inspect the slum her mother wanted to demolish for a tech park. She had come, not to ask questions, but to instruct. And then she saw him. An old man, ragged, dark-skinned, leathery from sun, beard grizzled. He was sweeping the edge of the street with a short broom. Not fast, just slow, rhythmic, as if every sweep was a prayer. "Get him out of the shot," Kaima barked to her assistant. The man looked up. Their eyes met. She flinched. But pride stood up tall in her chest. "Why are you staring at me like that, old man?" she hissed, stepping forward. "Move away, a bag, before I call security." He did not move. She spat. It landed on his feet. He blinked and said one thing. "Your mother taught you to spit?" Kaima recoiled. "You're mad." But something in his eyes unsettled her. Not the anger of the poor, but recognition. A quiet thunder. She turned. "Let's go." The crowd around them whispered, but no one spoke aloud. The camera rolled. The dust never settled. That night, the city thundered with gossip. Blogs posted blurry shots of Kaima spitting on an elder. Half called her bold, half called her cursed. Her mother, Senator Owuluwemi Nwoke, summoned her to the villa in Ikoyi. "Shebi, I told you to smile, not spark a protest," the woman snapped, slamming her wine glass. Kaima rolled her eyes. "He was in my shot. I didn't ask him to stare." "Do you know who that man is?" Kaima paused. "A beggar?" Senator Owuluwemi sipped her drink, silence heavy like Obono soup left overnight. "That man's name is Jide. Jide Daramola." "Okay." Her mother turned, voice dropping. "He's your father." The world stopped. The chandelier above didn't move. The ceiling fan didn't spin. Even the guards at the gate paused mid-walk. "What?" Kaima laughed. "You're drunk." "I wish I was." Kaima stood. "My father is dead. You said he died before I was born." "That's the story I needed you to believe." Her mother now stood, facing her. "I was 19. He was 21. A musician. Poor, but bright. I loved him, but I chose politics. I chose power. I left him behind. You lied to me for 25 years, Kaima's voice cracked, and you let me spit on him? Her eyes flickered, but her voice remained steel. He wanted to see you, but I said no. You belonged to my world now. That night, Kaima couldn't sleep. The shadows on her wall whispered like ancestors. She opened her old baby album. Empty. She looked at her birth certificate. Father's name. Unknown. Now the absence had a face. At dawn, she drove alone. No convoy, no makeup, no plan. She returned to the slum. It smelled of smoke, rain, and history. The man, her father, was there again sweeping. She stood before him. He did not stop sweeping. Kaima whispered, "They said your name is Jide." He paused. The broom hovered midair. "I was young, but I remember your mother's eyes. You have them." Kaima's throat tightened. "Why didn't you fight for me?"
He chuckled, bitter and slow. "I was a boy with no shoes. She was a senator's daughter. They chased me with police, burned my letters. I heard you were overseas, that you were better off. You let me grow up thinking I had no father. You had a mother with power, but I needed a father with presence." He blinked. The broom dropped. Their silence stretched longer than their bloodline. Later that day, Kaima returned home and stood before her mother. "No makeup, no heels. You owe me," she said. Senator Olawami folded her arms. "I gave you the best of everything, but not the truth? I protected you. No, you protected your image." Silence. "I want to know him." "You're my daughter? I'm his, too." The senator's jaw clenched. "He's not worthy." Kaima stepped forward, slow and measured. "That's for me to decide." And then quietly, the senator whispered, "He broke my heart. I told him I was pregnant. He didn't show up." Kaima shook her head. "He said he was chased away." They stared at each other, two women with the same fire in their bones but different flames in their choices. Olawami finally said, "If you walk this path, you walk it alone." Kaima whispered, "Maybe that's what freedom sounds like." Jide sat in his one-room house staring at an old cassette tape of his guitar recordings. His eyes were red, not from age, but from memory. A knock. Kaima entered. He stood. They stared. She said, "Teach me how to sweep." He laughed, then cried, then whispered, "You shouldn't be here. I want to know who I am, not who she made me." Jide touched her shoulder. "Then we'll start with the dust." Jide and Olawami under the mango tree, hands intertwined. He plays a soft high life tune. She sings along, giggling. "I want to name her Kaima. It means the one who knows me." He smiles. Then she will know love. Later that night, police burst into his room. A man in a suit, Olawami's father, steps in. "Stay away from her, or next time it won't just be a beating." Blood on his mouth, guitar smashed. Jide looks up and whispers, "I will never forget her." Present day, Kaima stands before a media conference. She steps to the mic. "I came here as a woman of privilege, but today I speak as a woman of truth." Gasps! "I recently discovered the man I shamed was my father." Gasps! "I stand here to say blood remembers and love forgives." Olawami watches from the back. Tears, silent. Pride, silent. But something in her breaks. Jide watches on TV, alone. A smile forming, not wide, but real. The morning after the press conference, Kaima returned, not in convoy time, but in a modest red Corolla. No escort, no designer heels, her face bare, her spirit stripped of pretense. She arrived in Ajagunle again, but not to gawk. This time she came to live. Her suitcase bumped against the uneven earth. Children ran past her, giggling, barefoot, their laughter bubbling like palm wine. Jide stood by a wooden table under a mango tree, frying a kara in a rusty pan. He wore a faded white singlet and wrapper. The oil sizzled. The air smelled of old onions and old stories. He looked up. Their eyes met again. But this time, no spitting, no shame, only silence, only start. Kaima's first night in her father's house was not peaceful. It was noisy, roof leaking, Mosquitoes dancing like masquerades, a neighbor's generator roaring like an angry beast, and in her chest, silence louder than all. Jadel sat by the corner, stringing his battered guitar. He didn't play, just touched the strings like they were veins. "Why didn't you remarry?" Kaima asked softly. Jadel didn't look up. "I tried, once, but her name wasn't yours." Kaima leaned back on the creaky bed frame. "You were always waiting?" "Not waiting, just surviving." She exhaled. "I can't believe I'm here." He smiled faintly, yet here you are. Outside, the rain started, slow, soft, then violent, like forgiveness. The next morning, Kaima walked into the market. She wore a simple wrapper and carried a basin on her head. Whispers followed her like smoke. "That's the senator's daughter, oh. She dey here now like she be one of us. She come back for revenge. No, not her papa they sweep for this street." At a stall, she met a woman selling vegetables, Mama Jumoke. Broad, busty, eyes sharp like razor blade. "You look like your father," the woman said. Kaima paused. "You know him?" "I knew him before your mother had her first press interview." Kaima chuckled. "Everyone seems to know him better than I do." Mama Jumoke's voice turned low. "Did he tell you how your mother lost her pregnancy before you?" Kaima froze. "What?" Mama Jumoke leaned in. "Your mother was pregnant before, with twins. But she fell down the stairs after an argument with her father. Jidel never knew. He only found out after they buried them. That's when your mother changed. That's when the gates of politics swallowed her heart." Kaima clutched the basin tighter. Jadel had lost more than a daughter. He'd lost everything twice. Kaima returned to Ikoi. She didn't enter the house. She waited outside the iron gate till her mother came down. Senator Olawami stepped out in a silk robe, annoyed. "You didn't call." "I didn't come to impress." "What now?" "Why didn't you tell me about the first pregnancy?" The senator's expression cracked, just a flicker. Kaima continued, voice cold and clean. "Why didn't you tell me you fell and buried children I never knew?" Olawami turned away. "That part of my life is dead." Kaima stepped closer. "But I'm not, and I'm the fruit of that same tree." Silence. "You keep talking about your strength, but it takes more strength to break a pattern than to repeat it." Oluwami looked up tired. "You think you're better now because you sleep in a slum." "No," Kaima whispered. "I think I'm freer." Jiddle watched the news from a small battery-powered TV. His hands trembled. Kaima was being dragged online. Headlines screamed, "Senator's daughter chooses gutter over gold." From skyscraper to shanty, is Kaima woke up mentally stable? Family drama or staged redemption arc? He turned the TV off. Kaima entered, drenched in sweat. He looked at her. "You don't have to prove anything to the world." She collapsed beside him. "I'm not proving anything. I'm just trying to know you before time runs out." He placed his calloused hand over hers. "Then let's use what's left." Jidel and Oluwami sit at an abandoned train station, her head on his shoulder, her belly barely showing. "You think our child will be stubborn like me?" she asked. He laughed. "She'll be soft like you until she learns to fight. I want her to sing." "She'll have my guitar," he whispered. But that night, Oluwami's father came, told her she'd bring shame, said he'd send her abroad if she aborted, or disown her if she didn't. She chose to run, fell down the stairs in the rush, lost the babies, lost her heart. When she came back, she wore her first power suit. and Jidel never knew what was buried. Senator Obawami called for a family meeting. Kaima sat on one end of the glass table, Jidel on the other, cameras flashing, advisors whispering. I am stepping down from the gubernatorial race. Olawami announced. Gasps. I want to repair my home before I lead a state. Reporters screamed questions. Are you saying Kaima's father is... Yes. Kaima stood, microphone trembling. And I'm not ashamed. One reporter shouted, So you're now living in a slum? Kaima smiled. No, I'm living in my story. And beside her, Jide held her hand, calloused fingers holding a daughter the world once hid. It was the night of the Lagos Women and Legacy Gala. Gold banners stretched across the Civic Center. Dignitaries glided in, traditional rulers, foreign diplomats, oil tycoons with smiles that cost millions. Everyone dressed like wealth was their skin. But all eyes turned when she entered. Kaima. In a gown made of hand-woven aquate, bare shoulders, hair wrapped in a modest turban, no diamonds, no bodyguards. On her arm? Not a senator, not a prince, but a man in plain white agbada, holding a cane with carved lion's head. Her father, Jide Daramola. The room froze. But Kaima didn't. She walked tall, heart pounding like bata drums. One whisper grew louder. She brought her father. Another, the street sweeper? And then Senator Olawumi entered from the side, in black, regal, silent. For once, she was not the center. For once, she was watching. Dinner began. Forks clinked, champagnes flowed, but tension sat thicker than egusi soup. Kaima was being awarded Voice of the Year for her advocacy work with girls in Ijegunle. She didn't smile. She kept looking at her father, his hands fiddling with the silk napkin. Across the table, Senator Olawami's eyes flicked from him to her, then back, her lips tight, her glass untouched. The MC cleared his throat. Before the award, we would like to hear a few words from Miss Kaima Noke. Applause. Kaima rose, walked slowly to the podium, paused, then faced them. I used to believe legacy was made of buildings, that power came from names, that prestige meant purity. She scanned the room. I was wrong. The hall held its breath. Legacy is not a surname. It's not who people think raised you. It's who taught you what love feels like when no one is watching. A flashbulb popped. Some months ago, I spat on a man in a slum. I didn't know he was my father. But the truth didn't care whether I believed it. It was waiting, like a river beneath dry land. Kaima turned to Jide. And tonight, I choose to walk in it. Tears in her voice, in her eyes, in the room. After the speech, Kaima stepped off the stage. Senator Olawumi intercepted her backstage. You made a fool of me, she said. Kaima held her gaze. No, you just saw yourself without your armor. Olawumi's eyes sharpened. You think you've won some moral prize? No, Kaima said, voice steady. I lost too much pretending to be you. I just want to be me now. A pause. Olawumi sighed, heavy. He never forgave me. Maybe he did. He just never forgot. And then the senator touched her daughter's arm, lightly, not to pull her back, not to scold, just to feel something she hadn't felt in years, connection. And then she walked away, not defeated, but dismantled. Outside, Jide stood near the Civic Center entrance. Security guards tried to move him off. He waved them off politely, like flies. Kaima came to him. He shook his head. You didn't have to tell them everything. She did, or the silence would have killed me. He looked at the lights reflecting on the lagoon. They'll mock you. She smiled. Let them. I've walked through worse gossip than truth. He chuckled, then paused. You remember that song I used to sing outside my shop? Kaima nodded. The one about mango trees and river stones? He began to hum, and Kaima joined. Father and daughter. Not perfect in harmony, but perfect in purpose. Olawumi holds a newborn Kaima. The nurse lays her down in a private hospital room. Her father stands by the door, cold, stern. You will not tell him, he says. He's nothing. She will be everything. Olawumi nods, broken but obedient. She looks at baby Kaima and whispers, You will never know hunger. You will never know pain. I swear it. But outside the hospital window, a young Gide paces holding a single rose, unaware the woman he loves is upstairs erasing him. Weeks later, Kaima stood before the governor's advisory council. They had offered her a board position with a salary large enough to buy houses for everyone in her street. But she said one thing. I respectfully decline. They asked why. She smiled. Because power doesn't heal what truth reveals. Under the mango tree in Ajegule, a new mural stretched across a school wall. A girl in heels holding a broom. A man in rags holding a crown. Kaima stood beneath it, laughing with street children. Githe played guitar nearby, eyes closed, smiling. Senator Olawumi arrived in a simple wrapper and scarf. No camera, no speech. Just a mother, watching her daughter rise, not through politics, but through purpose. And as dusk fell, a breeze swept through the compound, soft, strong, like the hand of legacy rewriting itself. If the world raised you on half a truth, and your heart demanded the rest, would you chase your crown or return for your roots? If you enjoyed this story, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Someone out there might need to hear it. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your time and support. See you in the next story.
highlifeng.com